Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Let's Ruin It podcast, where we take your favorite pop culture media, put a legal spin on it, and like all lawyers, we ruin it. Today, we welcome you all to the Cottage.
The Cottage.
The Cottage. If you guys
I'm
know
outnumbered by the Russian speakers.
If you guys know what we're talking about, and also because, again, we love a theme.
And we have to be dressed on theme.
Yes, we are doing the Heated Rivalry today.
Ooh, yay.
It was hot.
So heated. It was so heated.
Tell us how you feel about it.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that was a lot even for me.
Yeah.
Okay, that's saying a lot.
I felt good about it.
That was a lot.
I felt really good about it.
There's a lot going on there.
So first we have to say, we do have the jerseys hanging in the background.
That represent their teams
honor
or
of
their cities, not really the real teams.
No, Boston and Montreal and their fake made up names. But yeah.
But not a single one of us could bring ourselves to actually wear those.
No, we
I'm
could not.
prohibited by my marriage contract.
Our marriage contracts. Yeah, that's correct.
I have to represent the Islanders.
These teams are both in our division, so there's no way
don't even know that.
we can wear
I don't know that. I don't know whose division is whose.
or in our conference. There's no way.
I don't know these things.
No way.
I know that I have to wear an Islander shirt.
No.
Or I'm in trouble.
But you're my enemy. You're my enemy.
Yes.
That's how it
The
goes.
enemy of my enemy is
are
my
the-
friend.
That's it.
We do represent like the entire tri-state area.
tri-state
like
area. We are
Devils, Rangers,
rivals.
Islanders.
Yes. Correct.
I like that we can't even agree on this.
Right.
I do also have to shout out my sister and my niece, who have been really, really pushing hard for us to do this.
Yeah.
Because, to be fair, they've become slightly obsessed.
I think for good reason. Now that I've
you
seen
know
it.
what? When it was
guys.
being discussed in my office, it was definitely water cooler talk. And if anybody knows my office, we're all women in my office, and there was definitely a lot of convo going on about this show, and how it needed to be watched. I am the last one on the train.
Yes.
Oh, really?
No, this...
And I had the excuse to say it was for work.
It's for work.
It's for
work.
Doing this for my livelihood.
This show, which, by the way, is based on books, this show has taken on, and the books itself...
How many books are there?
6, I believe.
6 or 7, something like
I
that.
heard, yeah.
Has taken on a full life of its own. My sister and my adult niece, I should specify,
It's like a 5-year-old.
are not the only ones. It has taken the internet by storm. And everyone is obsessed with Ilya and Shane.
Oh my God.
This is just on another level.
It's a beautiful love
Did
story.
you guys happen to
really
see
is.
Connor's story hosting
SNL,
SNL?
yes. He's amazing in general at accents, but we have to just like...
We have to, right off the bat, we have to talk about it.
note the fact that he's incredible. His accent, when he's speaking English, his accent is just so on point that I would have thought like this is one of my like Russian-speaking cousins, like one of my, like literally. Like,
Well, and I defer to you
so
guys
good.
because I was like, I don't know, was his Russian good or not?
And his Russian is actually
phenomenal.
excellent.
Yeah.
Like,
Excellent. It was so good. So he didn't just learn his lines, because, you know, a lot of times you got someone like just throwing out a Russian line in a movie. He didn't just learn his lines. He actually learned the language and the rules of the language. And he actually did a podcast when he was doing promo. He did a podcast where he was actually explaining the grammar rules. I mean, I don't understand half the grammar rules, but he was like talking about conjugations, and he was talking about how the feminine and the masculine versions of words, like he knew.
he understood all the rules of
He
the
learned the
language, and he can
language.
speak the language, and it shows because aside from maybe like certain times where you could pick up like an American accent, just phenomenal Russian.
Yes.
And like I was blown away. So we like Josh has pulled this up that this is
Talk about how
HBO
it's taken the
Max's
world by storm.
top acquired scripted series ever, 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's 10.6 million US viewers total. Like, I mean, it's just
okay, wait.
amazing.
And then 1/3 of the total audience rewatched the entire season at least once. Can I just say that
get
somebody
that.
actually told me today that they have now watched it 7 times?
What? You know what?
And I'm like, how many times?
Oh my God, they watched it over and over again.
Oh yeah. I'm like, and I have to admit, I had to cram to watch it. I did like.
Oh, I mean, I did finish the series yesterday. It's hard
did
because
too, last night,
I can't
yeah.
watch it when like the
That's
kids
what
are.
she said. Sorry. I feel like it's appropriate for this episode.
I can't watch it when the kids are awake. I have to wait till they're
No,
asleep,
of
and then
course.
I also can't like. I tried to get my husband to watch it because like TV time is usually both of us watching, and I was like, "You love hockey? This is a hockey show." And we started watching the
try,
first
Diana.
episode, and he's like, "This is not a hockey show. This is where's not hockey? Where's
right.
not
It's
hockey?"
all about
To quote my husband, this was gay porn with hockey cosplay.
I don't see a
And
difference
I
between
said-
this and a hockey game.
I said,
It's not true.
this
no,
No, I
It's a
thought
love
this
story.
show
I thought it
makes
was a
you think
beautiful
that
love
every
story.
hockey player is gay. And
No.
I think that like I think the fact that it's a gay romance is what is kind of throwing people off because I think about it like we watch Bridgerton and there's
Yes.
just as much like
100%.
gratuitous sex
Well, actually,
scenes
it's funny 'cause
there, but
somebody
no one
else
has
said
an
to
issue
me-
with it because not
Yeah.
even an issue with it, but it's not like talked about.
somebody mentioned Game
as
of
a porn.
Thrones to me.
Oh my God, Game of Thrones is
Which
very
game
graphic.
was
yes.
very graphic.
Very graphic.
And also an HBO show, mind you.
Sure.
Right.
So
HBO has a tendency
It's not like
to
we're
do
getting
these
full
things.
frontal in this show or anything. Like we see
No.
butts and that's it. And we've
the way,
seen
Liz, you
more
wanted to say
on
something about
Bridgerton.
their
no,
budgets.
but I don't know if it's the enthusiasm with which they are acting, but
Because they're great actors.
I honestly, I really
But
think it was a beautiful love
think it's a
story. In all,
beautiful
in
love
all
story.
seriousness,
I blushed. Okay,
it takes a lot for Liz to blush, you guys.
I just thought it was. I think.
But I
beautiful
also,
romance.
I think the entire. There's been like just a whole movement of the hockey romance genre. I don't know if you
Wait, I
guys.
didn't know
Oh
that.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No.
Yeah. There's like
There's these stupid like TikTok books.
Really?
They're
Yeah.
all over.
oh
and
yeah.
I had no idea.
It's a huge area.
Puck me, you know.
Really?
They're actually there is a hockey. I can't remember what it's called.
There is one with the guy and the girl.
They're making it into a TV show, but yes, with a guy and a girl. They're making, but it's like a whole genre.
Oh, yeah.
of
I am
books.
so disappointed that all the hockey
I
that's shown
have
in my
not-
house is just
Oh,
hockey
yeah.
games. That's
but
boring.
also-
Well, yeah, mine too. I have not read them. This is not like my thing.
I
Wait, a
played
guy
the
and a
fifth.
girl, but
I played
what,
the
are they
fifth.
both playing hockey? The guy and the girl, like what?
no, he's the hockey
there's-
player.
he's the
And
Well, I mean,
and it's a whole series.
the
of
original
books.
for this is
it
the
is a
cutting
whole
edge.
series.
The cutting edge, which is like
Josh
Hey,
just
there
pulled
you
up
go. He just
Puck
pulled it
Me.
up.
Is this,
Puck Me.
but wait, is
See,
that,
am I wrong?
No,
Puck Me
that's not-
secretly.
That
Puck Me Baby one
No,
more time.
I think you're
That's a
talking-
good one.
Maybe one more time.
Hold on. This is.
Fucking
I think this is
murder.
X-rated. That's not what I'm talking about, you guys.
No,
Stop.
these
That's
are
not
really
what I'm
good
talking
titles.
about. No,
No,
Josh.
Josh, look at TikTok books.
No, there's one that's literally being turned into a show.
there is.
Like next month. I can't think of what it's called. I may or may not have read it. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. But there's like a whole genre of it now. And
No, I know
everyone-
because I know the cover, so I'll
Yes,
know
that's
it
the
as
one.
soon as I
Off
see it.
campus.
Off
That's
campus.
It.
Yes,
That's it. Yeah. So, okay. There's like a whole genre of this now. Women have become absolutely obsessed with this. And have you guys seen all of the TikTok videos where like you show up to a hockey game and they're like, oh, when do they kiss? And then
Yeah.
like the boyfriend is like, what? This is a hockey game. And the girl goes, yeah, exactly.
Right. I haven't seen that, but that's exactly
haven't
how I
either.
feel. I'm like, why don't I get
it's
to see
very
this
funny.
hockey? Like, I want to see the hot hockey, not the
There is no hot
normal
hockey.
hockey
Wait,
that
have
they're
you-
showing
Although
me.
on occasion, when we're watching a game, they will get into an intense fight and maybe rip off a jersey. Just saying.
They get very
But wait,
physical.
but
they
also
do.
when they stretch in the beginning, guys,
They
this
stretch.
is
I
really
love it.
taking off.
The fighting,
We're going in a
None
different
of this
the
is
direction.
fighting
legal,
is one
but
of my
it's all fun.
favorite
Guys,
parts
this is
of
not
hockey.
this is not what this podcast is about. Let's get serious. All right. So you probably are wondering.
Getting serious is not what this podcast is.
No, but everyone is probably wondering what the hell we're going to talk about here
Yeah,
today.
like, what are the legal issues?
We actually have a bunch of things to talk about.
We do.
I think we have a lot of things to talk about.
Could ruin anything.
Oh, give us anything.
Seriously.
That's
Let's
a challenge.
make this boring.
That's a
what
challenge.
lawyers do.
Throw anything at us, we will find how to ruin it. But no, what I think is the main issue that we're going to talk about, and then there are some other issues aside from it, is a potential conflict of interest that may or may not occur between two players who are on opposite or on different teams in the same league.
Yes.
Now, there's not a whole lot of precedent for something like this.
Nope.
There is some precedent on the WNBA with two players in relationships on opposite teams. There's some precedent with two players on the same team. Now, there, it's really not so much of an issue because it's disclosed, and nobody seems to really have an issue with the fact that there are two players on different teams in the same league.
Well, and I'm going to go out on a limb and make a comment that you guys might not appreciate, but I feel like
Well, let's be the judge of that.
I feel like in female sports, there's almost an expectation that most of them are lesbians. So if not going to be overtly surprising,
I mean, it's
that
not-
there's
yes.
going to be relationships that will develop. I think in general, most of society is a little bit more accepting of that. I think especially in a hockey context, you're going to get a lot of pushback with that idea. And at the moment, I looked it up. Right now, there are no openly gay
current
hockey players
because
on any roster.
Right. And so that's the thing. Like, maybe the relationship part is like a little bit more surprising, but like if somebody comes out as gay in the WNBA, no one's like, oh my God, can you believe that?
Yeah, I don't think there's the shock value. I got you.
There is a shock value here. And, you know, I don't know if it's just like professional sports in general that people in society isn't as accepting or accustomed to it, obviously, because it hasn't happened. But clearly in this show, there's a huge issue with people finding out. Like the big concern is no one can ever find out about this.
And they go for years on the show.
Years and years. It goes on for like 3 or 4 years. They have
more than that.
Well, it starts in like what, 20?
They go up for 10
so
years.
Yeah, in the whole, but the show didn't end there. I think it went 12, 12, and it was 2017.
So like 5 years.
And I've heard about, they're going to do a season 2, so it's going to probably keep going.
No,
but the series,
I think it's over the course of 10 years, you guys. Was it I'm pretty sure.
Not this, but the books, definitely.
This. Like, they do the timestamps.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
No, they did. I'm almost positive it was only 5 years too, Diana, right?
We're gonna Google this, and when I'm gonna be right, we're gonna keep this in.
Oh, we are? Okay.
Josh is doing it right now. But okay, the point is that, and we had, guys, I will tell you, we had a very spirited debate.
Now.
What?
Josh's got stats to back us up here. There
As
are no openly gay players in the active roster. There is one who was openly gay that was drafted by the Nashville Predators, and he came out in 2021.
But he never made it to the NHL.
But at the moment, he has not played. And look, I'm going to say that's not a surprise that he's not playing in the majors.
Yes.
You know?
Although it does say that by contrast, about 29% of active WNBA players are openly lesbian. Yeah. I mean, that's a huge difference.
Oh my God.
Huge difference.
Huge difference.
I think that the number's a little low.
I will say, although Shane and Ilya first meet briefly
you mean
in 2000,
Hollander and Russini?
in 2008.
It spans nearly a decade.
Well, they meet in 2008. They don't hook up until 2010, so it's 7 years of an actual romance.
Right, but it's a whole years-long journey. Anyway, it's not relevant.
But you're right. The book timeline covers about 10 years, but I don't know that we got all of that in this season. That's my only question. That's all.
Okay, so here's really where we are with this. And we touched upon this briefly when we did K-pop Demon Hunters, and we talked about the two of them and their relationship and the conflict. And then before we started recording today, the three of us got into a very spirited debate, and Josh jumped in, and Liz's husband jumped in.
Was it a heated rivalry, Jenny?
It's basically having two rival players being in a secret relationship, and whether or not that's a breach of their duty to their teams, to
the league,
teammates, the league, right? Like, do they owe a duty not to undermine their employer's interests? Because are they going to go soft on their rival?
Take that back.
Oh,
I mean, we're going to have to use the term like go light on, go easy on. I can't, you guys.
I'm only laughing because of her.
You guys can't handle the content. Okay.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
We can't handle it.
If one player goes
be a
easy
serious attorney
on
now.
the other in these games, that's a potential breach of their duty to their team, to their employer.
Potentially.
Right.
Yes.
I personally did not get that impression in this show because it seemed to me like they did not take it easy on one another, and they were like, oh, you ready to get beat tonight? I'm scoring 3 goals on you.
Right.
Jenny,
we're going to put you in the corner.
Seriously, she's getting kicked out of this discussion.
No, okay. But in all seriousness,
Jenny is that person in law school where when you're in torts and they're teaching you about duty and she
She
can't
said
stop
duty.
laughing.
She said duty.
okay. No, in all seriousness, I think that it's not so much about the two of them because, yes, you're right. In this particular, in the show, in the story, they're not going light on each other. They're like, I'm going to kick your ass today, right? But I think what we were arguing over is whether or not is there an inherent conflict with two people in a romantic relationship competing against each other on different teams? No. Is it a disclosure issue?
Well, so the disclosure issue, I don't know if disclosing it will change how they play their games. Clearly in the WNBA, they don't see an issue with it because you can have a romantic relationship and be on two different teams.
And I think that's the difference, right? I think for me, the biggest difference is the disclosure, meaning being upfront with your bosses about it versus not, versus they're keeping this a secret. And that, to me, this is where the issue comes up, right?
Well, then, okay. It's interesting that you said that. What about if there's disclosure to your employer, but not disclosure publicly to anybody else? Is that sufficient under your scenario?
Right, like in a workplace environment where you have to go to HR and disclose that you're in a relationship with someone else.
But that doesn't mean that they need to put out public relations about it. And quite frankly, I don't think that they would, because I don't think, quite frankly, in the environment that they're in and the way that it's portrayed, that anyone wants it to come out that.
Well, yeah, there's clearly a public image issue that they are facing.
I think I would be okay from a legal perspective is what I'm saying. I think that it would be okay if they're disclosing it to their employer, but I don't think that they have an obligation to disclose it to the public.
I agree.
Because it's not like the public are shareholders or have any sort of like financial stake in the business. Do you know what I mean?
Correct.
So I don't think they have any sort of duty to the fans.
No.
Right.
Right?
And kind of
Not
like
at all.
We discussed beforehand, we likened this to, or compared it to, sets of brothers in the NHL.
And that's
there
very
have been
different.
so many.
And not just
So
in the
many.
NHL, everywhere.
And then everywhere, in football, everywhere.
But since we're talking about hockey,
Right, so like
in hockey, there
there's
have been
been
brothers
so
that
many
have played on the same team, on
rival
opposite
teams, right, exactly. They
And
played
we have
against
that
each
now.
other.
There's a bunch of sets of brothers.
Now, the difference is there's nothing to disclose. Everyone knows that you're brothers. So
True.
there's nothing, you don't have to go to your employer and say, this guy's my brother. Like, everybody already knows
Everyone
that.
goes in with open eyes.
But the issue of whether or not you're going to play the same if you're playing against this person clearly hasn't been a concern for these sets of brothers who play.
And we touched upon this before also, and I still maintain that I think a sibling relationship is very different from a romantic relationship. I think, and it's exactly what I said before, there's a reason we have something called spousal privilege and we don't have something called sibling privilege. So spousal privilege, just as for anyone who doesn't know, is you're not going to ever be obligated to testify against your spouse, because the idea is that spouses share things in confidence. There's this concept called pillow talk, right? You share something when you're kind of like talking about your day, and that's considered a very sort of sacred privilege. Right?
But we're not saying that they should be prohibited from
They're
playing
not
against
spouses
each other,
in this
though.
case.
They're not
spouses. You're right.
But see, the privilege, like, you are prohibited, like, from forcing someone to testify against their spouse, would be prohibiting these players from playing against each other because of the pillow talk angle. Because, again, yes, it is different because with siblings, you don't have the pillow talk, but like the same thing where like, the brothers can sit around at Sunday dinner and share, like, who knows what they're sharing, certain like, plans for their plays. It's like trade secrets.
So-and-so on my team.
But
he's like,
siblings
he's whatever. He's this, he's that.
Or
whatever.
The concern of whether you're going to go easy on someone because they are your brother and you want them to do well. It's his rookie season, let's say. Like, we're not prohibiting that.
To me, it's the trade secrets of it all and the playbook of it all, right? So I don't know. I don't think hockey has a playbook, but like the NFL has a playbook. And so you're laying in bed and you're studying your playbook and your spouse is laying in bed next to you and kind of like peeking over. Now, again, I think that everyone is an adult and should be professional and there should be lines that aren't crossed, right? But I think that when you're disclosing it to your boss or to the team owner, et cetera, I think there is this perception that, all right, everyone's on the same page, you're on team A, you're on team B, and never the line shall cross. But if you are hiding this, if you are keeping this from everyone, there's this perception, there's this appearance of impropriety that perhaps is not there.
Right. But those concerns don't go away if you're disclosing, right? So just because they disclose to their employer doesn't mean that they can't also still share things with each other, like in their bedroom about like what they're playing.
I think ultimately speaking, if we're talking about Shane and Ilya, right? They are at the top of their game. They are stars. I think
and rivals,
and rivals.
And they go back and forth fighting for first and second in the league. Who's the MVP? Who's winning the cup? And all this stuff. And it was kind of cool though when they did actually get to play on the same team.
I know, that was
for
nice.
the All-Star game
Yes.
once. That was cool, and they had fun. Like you could see they had
If you
fun.
liken this to a corporation, a corporate world, a business, whatever, you are supposed to disclose to HR if you are having a relationship with a co-employee. And if you don't disclose it, if you're having a secret relationship, that's generally speaking a fireable offense.
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on if there is a policy against that within the corporation. Because not every business.
I'm not talking about like the pizza place down the street.
But a corporation
you know what I mean?
will have actual spelled out terms as to what your obligation is, whether or not you have to disclose a romantic relationship to HR, what your duty is to your employer. That's usually governed by some sort of code of conduct that a corporation would have.
Okay, this is actually a great parallel.
Go ahead.
Josh, from the NFL world.
I thought of this all on my own. I'm really proud. My brother would be very proud of me.
Josh, very well done. But I knew that actually. So Chris Snee, who's a player for the Giants, is married to Kate Coughlin, Tom Coughlin's daughter. So Coughlin was the coach for the Giants for a number of years. When he was already the head coach, Snee got drafted in the second round in 2004.
And played
his entire 10-year Giants career for his father-in-law.
Okay.
Won 2 Super Bowls, had to perform
The Eli
when
years.
he wanted, and show up 5 minutes early to Christmas dinner because Coughlin was a hard ass.
Okay.
Seriously.
See, Josh, and while I am proud of you for thinking of this, I don't quite think this is the same thing.
I would argue this is harder
Why?
because it's his father-in-law.
For
So he's gotta
real.
impress.
I would have to agree. It's a
But I don't
very
see-
complicated
But they're on
And
the
if
relationship.
you
same-
saw
they're on
the
the
way
same
that
team.
Tom Coughlin was a coach, I was not a big sports fan, but I did hear my brother yell about Tom Coughlin a lot.
Yeah.
And he was
But
a
I think-
tough coach.
It might be harder for him in his position as playing for his father-in-law.
But it's not the same disclosure.
And they're on the same team. They have the same
That might be
end
the
goal.
That might be the big
They
difference.
share the same goal.
Yes,
Right.
Did you guys ever go home to your husband and complain about your boss? I mean, you don't.
For real. Not
Me
anymore.
never.
Imagine going home and
Certainly
complaining
not.
about your boss, saying that
complain
he's
about-
an asshole,
I
and he's
complain about my
actually
boss all the time.
your wife's father.
Right. It's hard for him, but they don't have opposing interests. Their goal is to win, and it's the same team.
Right. I agree
Whereas
with Diana.
the
on
issue
this.
here
Yes.
would be whether they have opposing interests.
I absolutely agree with
I
Diana.
do
about
think this is interesting, though. I'm going to delve into that later.
So
But they do have opposing interests in this, and they seem to make it work. They're not talking about
what's their opposing interest? You're talking about the Giants? No, they're
No!
You're talking about
I
Ilya and
meant-
Shane.
Well, yeah, they have opposing interests. However, they also, like, at least for specifically Ilya and Shane, they meet up once in a blue moon.
Yeah.
What happens if, they do start cohabitating?
Which, by the way, in book 2, spoiler alert.
Okay, well, don't spoiler.
Sorry.
Don't spoiler.
Sorry.
Look, it's coming. We know it's coming down the
Yeah.
pike. You know?
I hope they move into that cottage and live happily ever after. But they...
I mean, I don't know because I'm not reading these dumbass books, but I'm assuming in season 2.
I'm coming to the cottage.
I'm assuming that he is going to take the job in Ottawa. They will be closer together, and they will be able to cohabit
they
in
haven't
some
had the
sense.
opportunity. They haven't cohabitated in any
Right.
like, literally, it's been like quick meetups when they find themselves in the same city.
6 months at a time, like sometimes.
The concern
it's-
of whether they're sharing trade secrets maybe hasn't been like something
An
they've had to
issue.
deal with yet. But now, who knows? Like,
But it also, we were talking about this, I think we were talking about this before we started recording, is that if and when this does come out, does someone then say, wait a second, we now have to go back through X number of years of games between the two of you?
and see if you went like easy on each other.
Yeah, and see if you threw the game in favor of your boyfriend.
Like usually, this is what Shane would do with an opposing player during this kind of play. But we see here that with Ilya, he didn't take that route. He didn't do that. Like there could be a lot of comparison.
Practically speaking, I don't think anyone is to do that.
No, I don't think
because
so.
again, and
They
because
could.
but
If
also,
they wanted a reason,
No,
if
and
they wanted
honestly-
a reason to sue him for a breach of fiduciary duty to their team or or a breach of their employment contract in some way, they would be doing that. They'd have an
think it's-
intern sitting there looking through.
I think it's
hours
way
of tapes.
more likely if it was a situation like a corporation with shares and you're going to have a shareholder lawsuit. You don't have that particular in this. But since you were talking about the corporate,
Sure.
I think if there were corporate interests, if there were shareholders, you're more likely to get like a suit that comes up like that. But quite frankly, based on what I've seen, I don't think that either one of these teams can complain that they didn't get the best out of their top player.
Well, yeah, each of them are amazing.
They're both captains. They're amazing players. Both of
Top
them
of their
won.
game, right?
Both of them won the cup.
Yeah.
Like, so neither one of these teams is hurting because they are in a relationship.
But it's this.
So it's going to be a tough sell in this regard.
It's this constant flow of information that's potentially going back and forth between the two of them, right? Like someone is injured, but it's not public yet, or our coach is changing the lineup tomorrow, and you're getting a heads up. Yeah, this information might become public at some point, but it's almost like insider trading. Maybe
Insider trading.
Maybe it becomes public at some point because they do have to disclose injuries, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But teams always find ways around it.
Right, they do.
And so if you know that my star player is injured and we're playing against each other tomorrow night, you can very well use it against me. What if you're using it against me subconsciously? Like, you're not going to try to, but it's...
And look, for purposes of like what we've seen in season one.
Funny. Think about this. They're having rough sex. One of them twitches a hamstring or something.
Two siblings are just roughhousing in the backyard.
Right.
Like,
and you know that, they're favoring their leg or something like that.
oh my God.
You could use it against them.
But look, for purposes of this season, like they were both top of their game. There was nothing that their teams would complain about. However, let's say down the line, like one of them isn't playing at the top of their game and the team, like the employer, wants to get out of their contract early, like break the contract early.
They could try to use it against them.
They could try to use it against them. And it's not only just like the failure to like disclose, but also like there are clauses in a contract. There's, there are public image clauses.
Yes.
If the team, if your employer deems anything that you've done or said or whatever to have been like a negative in
some
the
kind
public
of
image, right? A
detrimental,
detriment to the team or to himself as a public. They don't want
like some sort of reputation damage.
They don't want like reputational damages, and they want their actual team, like their actual players, to have good reputation. So they might try to argue that is a breach of the public image clause. However, obviously that gets into the realm of whether that's discriminatory. Just because you're coming out as gay shouldn't mean that your public image is tarnished in any way.
Right.
Similarly with the morality, they have morality clauses, right? They don't want some guy who's like out there like openly like doing drugs.
Are there morality clauses in sports contracts?
Well, I don't know, but there are in like a lot of other industries. So
I get.
I think there are.
And there are
sports contracts. I don't know.
How many times has an NFL player gotten into trouble and then they've gotten suspended?
Yeah, but that's because usually there's issues about being arrested for domestic violence, and it doesn't look good. And because of everything that came out with
so you're talking about like an actual criminal offense versus
like talking about something like that. I think that most people in this country expect that guys are going to drink.
There are morality clauses, and like first of all, I think they are fairly common, and some of them have been invoked to terminate endorsement contracts and
well, endorsement contracts wouldn't be
like,
through the actual league. An endorsement contract would be with the brand that you're being sponsored by.
Yeah, but I think that these teams actually have a lot of these teams.
I think they probably do
have morality clauses.
But here's the thing: I'm not sure.
Like the NBA, the NHL, like they do.
Apparently morality clauses were invoked to terminate endorsement contracts.
But if you see right before that, the NHL authorizes the commissioner to punish a player who, whether during or outside of the playing season, has been dishonorable, prejudicial to or against the league. Okay.
So here's what I think what they would try to do. They wouldn't spin it as you've been dishonorable because you're in this relationship. They would say you have not disclosed this relationship to us. Therefore,
they're trying to get around the fact that they are being discriminatory.
Correct.
I mean, the NBA even has like a clause that literally says you have to be dressed neatly.
And that's why they always all show up in their suits.
Well, and I will tell
fully
you that
attired in public, and then also says according to the highest standards of honesty, morality, fair play, and sport, like these.
Because if you recall, the NBA went through a very negative period. There was a period of time, probably in, I would say, the 90s, where everybody that was on an NBA team was considered a thug, a hooligan,
Right.
was getting arrested left and right for whatever
it
kind of
seems like
stuff.
most
So they
of these-
needed an
had
overhaul.
terrible,
Right, but
terrible
it seems like it's
reputations.
pretty common now with like most of these leagues that they
And
have
quite
some
frankly,
sort of morality clause.
Quite frankly, you see the NBA today, and it's a completely different. Like,
Right.
I love the NBA, and you've got these like really upstanding, clean cut, really great examples for kids now, and not gangbangers, which is what a lot of them came across as in the '90s, and they did a whole image revamp.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they started hardcore
Right.
putting in these clauses
in
the contract,
and it's across,
it's worked.
but it's across the board in all these
Yeah.
leagues, and they even like the remedies for a breach of that clause could include immediate contract termination, suspension, or financial penalties. And so
I think you're going to have a really hard time in this case saying that because you're in a relationship with another dude.
And I think that's why what Jenny
that's
said was right,
violating the
in
morality
that they're going to
clause.
try to
Right.
sidestep that, and as an excuse, they're going to say it wasn't that you're in a same-sex relationship; it's that you didn't disclose it, and you had a secret relationship with a rival
That's right.
on a different team.
Right. And basically potentially exposed our secrets.
Yeah, potential like disclosure of trade secrets. Right.
I think they're more in trouble, Hollander in particular, because he has so many endorsement deals. Right. His
Hollander.
mom.
Hollander.
I loved his mom. His mom cares so much.
His mom is such a manager. And
When she's like, well, there's a Swedish princess that you can be seated next to.
I loved in the very last episode where they where the dad walks in on them and then they show up to Shane's parents' house
and
she
he just turned around, walked out, drove the hell out of Dodge.
yeah. But I love when they were like they're telling them that they're together and the mom goes, but you hate each other. She's just so confused by it all.
Yeah, and or when he was.
What does he say? We are lovers.
Oh my God.
Or when
he's like, Ilya.
Or when Ilya was like saying that he might like transfer to Ottawa, and then she's like, well, what about like your? What was she said? She's like,
Loyalty to the team.
and he's like, my loyalty is to Shane, and it's like her mind is like team first. Like
Yeah.
she's so
Yeah,
hockey
yeah,
oriented,
yeah,
but she's also a really great mom, and I thought
is.
she cared a
Yeah.
lot.
She is.
But
that was good.
okay, so speaking of the fact that like they could be discriminated against, like that's another big issue. Clearly, they are.
Definitely.
Everyone is afraid of this becoming public, like including Hunter. You know, so it's not like
Who's the captain
there
of
is
the New
an
York
understanding
team?
across the board.
Not the Ranger, the Admirals.
The Admirals.
What is that, like Target?
Ranger, I like that. So clearly, anyone would feel this. It's not just Ilya and Shane. Anyone who's put in that position feels like I have to be, in the closet about this. And Hunter was a great example. He fell in love. He had a full-on relationship with the barista, and meanwhile, like he had to basically sacrifice at some point his relationship for a while because of his fear of coming out. And so the question becomes whether the league has done anything that promotes that kind of fear, or if it's just that public perception will be poor. Because, if these players are hiding their relationships and their sexual orientation due to fear of consequences from the NHL, that would be like a violation of their civil rights, right? Like Title VII, prohibiting discrimination based on sex, which includes sexual orientation, right? So if they're benched, traded, disciplined, for being gay, then they would have a viable discrimination claim.
Here's the problem, though. You're not going to get outward discrimination. We talked about how when Luke Prokop came out, he was openly gay. The commissioner, Gary Bettman, and his team, the Nashville Predators, were very supportive. They're like, the league is for everybody, rah, rah, rah. Everybody's welcome.
Right.
We
It would
don't
be done
have
surreptitiously.
We don't have a problem, right? Yet, he hasn't made it up to the Nashville Predators bench. He is still in the AHL.
Is his play is his
I can't
playing
answer
skills
that.
is it because his
Right.
playing skills aren't there?
I don't know, so I can't answer that.
We can't speak to that.
I can't speak to that, but clearly he hasn't made it up to the roster. And I think really what you're dealing with here is not that anyone's openly promoting that gays are not welcome, but there's a pervasive locker room, atmosphere, ribbing. When Hunter does the speech, when he gets the MVP award, he talks about it, how he grew up always feeling like the odd man out.
He heard those
And he heard the slurs that were said with just reckless abandon in the locker room. No one is shutting that down because that's just guy talk. And that's what you get all the time in sports.
They literally call it locker room talk.
You do.
Right?
You get locker room talk. That's it, and that's what it is. And no one's like shutting it down and saying like, we can't say that. But so it makes someone who maybe does have that orientation uncomfortable. So it's an indirect workplace harassment, I would say.
Or like a hostile work environment.
work
do you
environment.
think that a player in his position would have a viable claim for hostile work environment?
I think if after he's now disclosed that he's gay, has openly kissed his lover on the ice in front of, let's say, fake MSG and the entire world, he said, applauded by many, many people for coming out, for being brave. A lot of kids are like, oh, thank you so much. You're going to have, and I think that's just real world, you're going to have the opposite reaction where people are going to hold it against him and say, oh, he sucks because he's gay or whatever, or, he's this, he's that. He's definitely going to hear slurs by some people on the ice. Probably not his teammates, I would say, because they've known him the longest. I don't think you're going to get that from your teammates
I think unfortunately,
but you're going to hear shit on the ice
I think
from other
unfortunately, people have not evolved to that extent, or a lot of people have not. Some people have not, I should say.
So,
the scoop on Prokop? He's not quite ready for the NHL
but he's
yet.
not that far off.
Okay.
So maybe he's not being discriminated against.
He's a big guy. He's 6'6", 220. He's a defender.
Look, I think it's hard to say whether or not he's not there because he's not good enough or for other reasons.
Clearly,
we don't know that.
It's not like he's like a
that.
phenom and he's being held back.
Right.
Borderline.
Right. Well, and I will say this. I think the fact that Shane and Ilya are both phenoms works to their advantage.
If they are demoted anyway, it will definitely be clear as day that it's because of this. Right.
Correct.
And in fact, as my sister informs you, who has read the books, in the sequel, she's gonna kill me.
This is another spoiler.
In the sequel,
spoiler?
they try to come out, and I think she said the commissioner basically threatens to bench them if they come out.
Okay, that's a spoiler alert.
I'm so sorry.
People don't want to hear about the future seasons.
Oh my god! I guess you have to cut this out, Josh.
Oh my god! We don't want to upset our rabid fans.
They're either going to hear it from Jenny,
we do
or
have
they're
a
going to
rabid
hear
fan.
We have
an amazing fan. We have to shout her out.
to Nikki, our number one fan,
our only fan.
Who
That's not true.
No, but an enthusiastic and loving fan
who said
Nikki.
that she listens to every episode.
Yes,
fantastic,
and
Thank you
she's
so much.
wonderful, and we love you. Okay, we love you very much, Nikki. And so I think that. In terms of
now I think that's a problem. And look,
which part?
What I was going to say is they're either going to hear it from Jenny or they're going to hear it from the scuttlebutt on the internet. Who cares?
that is true.
And Jenny is pretty much Miss Internet, or
that's true.
I'm chronically online.
She is the social. She's the social media guru, so
she
knows
what you were saying.
But I
makes
think
sense.
that's going to be problematic. The commissioner, if he does try to bench them for coming out, it's going to be a clear discrimination case.
And
I would say.
And also, you cannot bench Shane and Ilya. They are the superstars.
Exactly.
You'd be hurting your own pocket.
Right, which makes zero sense.
Correct.
Well, no, the commissioner, the commissioner's paid by every team.
Sure, but
he's
the team
jointly
owners,
voted, but the owners would really have something to say about that, I would think.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that if you are, it hurts the league if you're doing that.
Definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
You're
sending the wrong message.
Absolutely. You're sending this perception that you're not accepting of it. You can't do that.
And I think going back to what you were saying about the hostile work environment, yes, I think once anyone comes out and that kind of behavior persists, then it's a much stronger claim for hostile work environment. What do you think would it be if you're still closeted and that is a kind of a pervasive culture in your locker room? Would you have a viable claim?
I think it's a tougher sell because it wasn't directed at him.
Right.
You know what I mean? They don't know that their comments are having
are being offensive.
A direct, target on him. They don't know that. So it's harder to say that they did it with some kind of an intent or something like that.
Let's flip it around. If you are a male athlete and on a male team in a male locker room and they're making a lot of derogatory comments about women, just really like slurs and just speaking very poorly and disgustingly about women, would you have a claim?
I think you're right.
Right. So then perhaps using that logic, because you're not a woman, they don't think that they're offending anyone there if you're not,
No.
But
you're right.
So
you
maybe
can't
you could use
assume
that
that
logic.
everybody in the room is going to be comfortable with the discussion
Right.
that you're having. I mean, you probably will be, excuse me, audience, Jenny's going to be offended. You would probably be considered a pussy if you brought a claim like that.
I hate that word.
But
moist. Anyway, so yes,
Okay.
I think
Are you
you're
guys
right.
just gonna throw all the
so
words
for
that
panty.
For that reason, I don't think that they would bring it, but I think they potentially could.
Right.
This episode has taken such a
Disgusting.
I mean, but what did we think was going to happen on this episode?
Now it's a hostile work environment. We're just trying to
Rile me up.
examine.
This episode's rated X, not even R.
Right.
No. Yeah. This
Oh,
is
come on. We're not that bad. We
is
still
it.
are. We still are.
No,
Let's
I
get
think
to
it's
the
R.
X parts, guys.
Yeah.
No, I would like to liken this to the real world and things that are currently happening in the news.
Oh, I thought you meant Real World, the show, and I love that show so much. I was like, which season of Real World?
San Francisco.
Oh my God, of course, wonderful.
What I was thinking.
Puck. Yeah, Puck would be a great example.
Puck would be a great example.
Of what?
Fuck you,
Hostile work
buddy.
environment?
Yes, he
Yes.
was so like,
So
oh my
offensive
God.
to everybody.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's not what I meant. I meant like the actual real world. Because, jeez. I want to talk about the head coach for the New England Patriots and his love affair.
So I just learned about this today when
Yes.
Jenny and Liz informed me that apparently I've been missing a huge scandal.
Oh my
on the
God, it's
news.
such a
Oh,
scandal.
I'm so upset I
Okay.
missed this.
Such a scandal.
It's such a scandal, and I have to tell everyone the tea. If you guys have not been following, a couple of weeks ago, it was reported that the head coach of the Patriots, Mike Vrabel, was spotted holding hands with Diana Russini, who is a reporter, who is an athletic reporter. Athletic is part of the New York Times. So,
And she reports on the NFL.
and she reports on the NFL.
in particular, the Patriots being one of them.
100%. She reports on all the teams, but yes, 100%. They are both married to other people. They were spotted.
I mean, you know that means nothing, Jenny, right?
100%. We are divorce attorneys, so we certainly know. So they were spotted by a pool, holding hands, whatever.
Canoodling.
Canoodling.
They did not.
Duh.
First, they initial denials.
Correct. They did not actually.
When you're holding hands, dummies. Like, what are you doing?
Let's hold hands. We're just friends.
I like holding hands with people.
So they actually, they did not admit that they were having an affair, but it was pretty clear. Also because
Is this like that stupid couple at the fucking Coldplay concert? Who
Oh
got
my
caught?
God. She also then like videos started coming out, like really awkward videos where she was like making fun of her husband and just like saying, like she said her husband is like very average looking and just like sort of weird, awkward things.
But then there were photos of them surfacing. That's
the punchline.
Kissing at a bar.
6 years ago. So this is the punchline. So that, well, hold on. You jumped ahead. Diana Russini resigned from her job. The NHL said that they were not going, NFL said that they were not going to investigate. Diana Russini, however, resigned and basically does not admit that they're having an affair.
I'm going to suspect that her employers had a lot to do with her resignation.
I'm sure. But she basically
She was probably pushed out.
in
allegedly.
her resignation letter,
and of course, it's her.
Of course.
in her resignation letter, she does not admit that they're having an affair and kind of basically says, like, this is a witch hunt. You guys are going after me for no reason. Like, there's no issues here. I've always done my job professionally. But because there's so much scandal and so much talk,
Yeah, but the
I'm
Athletic
going to
actually
resign.
did do an investigation and found out that it was true. There was more photos and whatever,
Wow.
and so
then Mike Vrabel still keeps his job, however, right?
right
Now,
because the NFL's like, we don't see nothing.
now
Although
we
I'm
keep,
not really blaming the NFL as a whole. I would say the organization doesn't seem to care.
and
And I guess there is a question of like whether this is purely a private lives issue, or if this could be
so this
a
is so
you know
this
breach
gets
of
this gets
duty.
even wilder. Even wilder because so now yesterday,
wait, before that,
as we're filming this yesterday, the news drops.
Yeah.
So Mike Vrabel is there's an announcement that he's going to be missing the draft.
he is, which is going on right now because
he's
I was
done
watching
it.
it. I was watching it last night.
didn't
I
know
saw
that.
who the Giants
Right.
drafted.
So when this so we're recording
wonderful.
this. We're recording this a little bit earlier than it's
football
actually going to be
meeting.
released.
Good.
But the draft, the first round happened last night,
Yeah.
and literally the night before, there was information that he's missing the draft. The head coach is missing the draft? That's insane. Because to go to counseling, by the way. And also he does a press conference where he feels like he has to apologize to his family. Okay. Yesterday, the New York Post drops pictures of the two of them kissing in a bar from 6 years ago. 6 years ago. And now the internet has gone amok.
I love the internet.
Amok. Basically
Amok.
basically trying to like connect the dots.
Tell them the big thing.
And now they think that he has fathered her child.
Because
her child is named Michael and was born exactly 9 months after she covered his game.
How many years ago?
2021, 5 years ago.
Oh my God.
Blew my mind.
Either in fact she did have his child while they're both married to other people, or she named her child with her husband
After the guy she's having an affair with.
And I just don't know what's worse.
Big disclaimer, everything allegedly.
Allegedly.
But
we are merely reporting what
reporting what we're hearing.
Correct. We are just the messengers. Now, why am I telling you this big piece of juicy gossip that Dave Portnoy is salivating over?
Oh my God.
He really is.
He's losing his mind. Have you seen his Tea by the Sea segment on Instagram?
Oh my God, I need to. No.
He's on vacation, sitting on the beach, doing literal tea by the sea. Like
oh my God.
He divulges all the tea.
Love that.
I
love that.
But he has not put on any sunblock.
All I know about Portnoy is that it goes and rates pizza places.
Yeah. He has not put on any sunblock in like days.
Oh, wow.
The poor man is fried to a crisp. Anyway, that's irrelevant.
Fried to a crisp.
The point is, let's talk about why I bring this up.
Do tell.
I believe that there is a conflict of interest that is inherently created when a reporter is sleeping with her source.
I mean, is it a source?
Sure. She's reporting on his team. She's getting information from him.
But is she reporting on like, or she's reporting like they had a great game the other day and this is who won?
No. She goes and reports on the team. She gets information.
Like what?
She asks
Like what kind?
questions.
Like is she getting inside information that somebody wouldn't get?
That's what I'm saying.
Did she get information about the Patriots and report on the Patriots in a way that's different than her reporting on the Giants?
Or
that's something that someone can easily look up.
Anybody else would have gotten access to because there's plenty of interviews that you
easy
do
to look
and
up.
You're not necessarily sleeping with the person to get it.
If the internet is doing their sleuthing, if the internet's doing their sleuthing so like just rapidly, then they should be able to easily pull up all of her reporting and be like, this is how it was different for the Patriots, or it's all the same across the board, in which case it did not affect her job because she's reporting on the Patriots the same way she's reporting on the Cowboys and on any other team.
Right.
No. And I will say also,
sorry, before you continue, it's this perception of impropriety, right?
Sure, however, and I think like Liz, you made a good point that like, did she resign or was she?
I'm sure she was pushed out.
Right.
I'm sure she was pushed out.
So let's flip it around.
It still makes her an unreliable journalist, whether she messed up or didn't.
Yes.
It just makes her an unreliable journalist.
I want to say that if it was a male reporter who was found to be having an affair with the female coach of, let's say, whatever, like the WNBA or like whatever.
Or
I don't know that he would have been
like
pushed
some
out
of the
necessarily.
big ones, like the LSU,
right? The
LSU coach.
Like, their genders were reversed. It was male reporter, female coach. I don't know that.
I think he would, and I think they would make an example out of him, and it would be they would make it a huge deal.
I think it'd be a scandal.
I mean, it might be a scandal. I don't know that he'd be pushed out by.
I don't think he would
by a major publication.
I don't know.
And maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think he would.
I don't know. I think it would be a scandal. Now the question
it would
is,
be a scandal for like the public. I don't think that it would affect his employment.
So
like,
now
I don't either.
Yes.
So now the question is. So they've determined, or somebody's determined, that it makes her an unreliable reporter. Let's assume that that's really why because it's the impropriety of it all, right? It's how it's perceived in the public eye. Okay. So she resigns, forced to resign, whatever. What happens to Mike Vrabel? Does he
clearly a whole lot of nothing because the NFL is not investigating.
Do you think
he kept his job?
Do you think if in fact, do you think the fact that it's been going on? Do you think that the fact that it's been going on for 6 years changes it? Do you think if he's fathered her child, it changes it? Does the morality clause kick in that he's having an extramarital affair? Does it matter? Granted, the team owner is Robert Kraft, and he had some legal issues.
He doesn't exactly have.
He had a few legal issues a couple of years ago, so it's the whole like
glass houses,
pot kettle black situation.
Yeah, right, exactly. Mr. Happy Endings.
You know that story, don't you?
No, well, which one?
The owner of the Patriots, Robert Kraft, was caught
Getting pleasured in the
Yes,
masseuse
yes.
parlors.
Right. But like, again, like, I just feel like the men come out fairly unscathed.
I think that's fair to say.
And
yeah.
also, by the way, just like a quick search, like apparently in March 2024, Russini shared a story on some sort of podcast of when her comments about Vrabel were taken out of context online, resulting in an angry phone call from the football coach. Like, so he was like,
we're sleeping together and you're still talking shit about me?
But like, what I'm saying is, clearly there must have been things that she had reported on.
Allegedly. I don't know that that's how it went.
There must have been times. What I'm saying is, this kind of shows like there, and again, somebody with a lot more time and interest on their like hands could go back and review all the times that she wrote about the Patriots or about him and see maybe they weren't all favorable. Maybe she literally was able to still do her job, even though this was happening in her personal life. She reported on him the same way she would report on any other coach, that she reported on this team the same way she reported on any other team.
And that may very well be true. But I think I do agree with Josh that it's the perception of it, that it makes her an unreliable reporter.
I don't think it makes her unreliable necessarily, the same way that I don't think that being on a rival team as your secret gate lover makes you an unreliable player.
You know, I think that it creates this perception. It creates this doubt in people's minds, right? Like
It's in the court of public opinion.
Yeah.
She's no longer.
sure.
reliable.
she's no longer neutral.
I agree with that. What I'm saying is her being ousted allegedly by her employer is where I take a bit of
I think
offense.
she might have an actionable claim against her employer for wrongful termination.
Well, no, because she resigned.
Well, but
She
she
resigned.
can make
Well,
she can make
resigned.
the argument, right? She could make the argument that she was forced to resign. I'm sure there's got to be an exception for that she had no choice.
But but there's also a different standard for a journalist and a coach, right? She's got her journalistic ethics violations, and she has to be perceived as objective.
Yeah.
And if she's now sleeping with the source that she's reporting on, that's inherently not objective, right? Or the source of the article, or setting aside the adultery of it
Are there
all.
no sports reporters who have had open relationships, marriage or otherwise, or being related to in some way an athlete? I'm sure. I don't know this, but like again, someone with a lot of time on their hands should go and look that up.
I don't know.
I
don't
have
know
a
the answer to
problem-
that
Whether or
question.
not she's reliable, I don't know.
I have a problem with the comment that it's inherently.
I don't think it's inherently.
I don't think it's inherently.
I think that there's a lot of people in different, like, you could be a political reporter who has a politician, like, spouse.
Well, talk about the famous.
But then you wouldn't report on your spouse.
I don't think
Why
you
not?
would.
They would.
No, I think they
The
pull
public
them out.
opinion would not. Your publication wouldn't want you to not be taken seriously, so they wouldn't let you. That's my.
I think so.
opinion.
I think he's right. I think he's right.
I don't know. I don't think so necessarily.
I don't know. I mean, we talked about that like in the courtroom setting, like when we were talking about with Richard Gere and Laura Linney in.
When they were going up against
when
each
they
other.
were up against each other in court, nobody knew they were necessarily in a
Former news
relationship.
anchor Marissa Burke reported on her own husband's arrest, a situation that became a, quote, devastating personal event when he was charged with a federal crime, forcing her to report on her own life. This has happened. Like, that's just
crazy.
one example.
That feels mean. Like,
Yeah.
sub someone else in. You're going to report on your own husband's arrest? That feels real mean.
I mean, there was a reporter, a male reporter for the LA Times who was married to an aide for Senator John McCain and like had to report on John McCain,
On McCain's campaign and administration. Right.
Like, this happens a lot. I think you can't like.
Okay, so maybe you're right. Maybe
I
it's
don't
not
think you can
inherently
assume-
a conflict
right.
of interest,
I don't-
but
yeah.
I think it gives rise to the doubt, and it gives rise to the public perception of there being a conflict.
Well, so in a lot of
interest.
ways, you get
And a lot
held
of
to a
times that's
higher.
enough.
You get held to a higher standard. Then
Right.
you have to kind of go
Sure.
out of your way to make sure that what you're doing does not give the impression that
So-
you are in any way slanted or giving anyone preferential treatment.
when we as attorneys take on
Therefore,
cases,
actually funny because you said that Vrabel got pissed off about something that she said, and I think that's her doing her job.
maybe she's overcorrecting so that it's not.
I don't know, but I mean, he had no. I think that's even worse. He had no right to call her up and bitch her out for calling
Yeah.
it like it is. That was an abuse of their relationship
That's
by
probably
him,
true.
not by her.
Although Again, I think that even if they weren't in a romantic relationship, I could see someone in his position calling up the reporter and be like, why would you say this about me? Like what I'm saying is, until somebody has actually taken a look at all the ways that she's reported on him and his team as opposed to other coaches and their teams and has found it to be like materially different, I'm not going to say that she used that relationship or that she was influenced by that relationship in the way that she reported.
Okay, so we can't say that as a fact, but I think
No,
there's
but I
a
think
reason.
part of what they're saying and part of what her employer was saying was the fact that she tried to cover it up
Yes.
rather than coming clean.
Yes,
Well, it's because it's an
They
affair,
can no
right?
longer trust her.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I guess
because she had
that
personal implications, right?
Right.
Like,
Of
there was
course,
right.
ramifications
So
out there.
from the employer's standpoint, it wasn't necessarily the affair in and of itself. It's you denying it, covering it up, and
for years.
subsequently then being
For
caught on it.
years.
So that's probably more the issue.
For years.
But so guys,
I mean, it's similar to the Coldplay fiasco.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't a problem other than the fact that she was in charge of HR and he was the CEO.
Yes.
And they were both married and
What
their
a-
spouses didn't quite approve of that.
Well, but then she went on Oprah and said that they were separated or some such nonsense, and she was mad at Gwyneth Paltrow. So I don't know what to tell you about that.
What?
poor
You know
Gwyneth.
what? Don't worry
What
about
does
it.
Gwyneth have to do with it?
No.
She's the ex-wife.
Oh, because
whole-
Gwyneth did that whole thing, yes.
So Gwyneth, the company
It was like a
released
commercial or something that she did.
a
What?
commercial for
Goop?
the company. No, she
Oh.
did a commercial for the company that
He was a
CEO
CEO of and she
of
was
it.
HR for.
Yes, and Gwyneth did a commercial, and they did kind of like a
was kinda funny.
on the nose. It was very clever.
I
and
thought
That PR team should be hired by everyone. in
it
the
was
world.
so, and they literally came out with it within days.
Wow.
And they had
Very smart
and
marketing
Gwyneth did it, which I thought was like brilliant because she's Chris Martin's
she's
obviously
the
ex-wife,
ex-wife, yeah.
and it was brilliant. But then the HR lady was went on
Not
Oprah's
happy.
podcast a couple of weeks ago and was like, Gwyneth always says that she supports other women, and why would she do this to make fun of me? I
But
mean,
again, the
because it was
problem-
funny.
The problem there wasn't what they were doing in their jobs or that it affected their jobs or anything. And depending on whether there was whether the company has
A policy.
on disclosing romantic relationships, because some companies don't. So really, the issue
No,
is
no,
that
but
they
some
were having an
companies
affair
say
and the public was upset about it.
You cannot date.
But some companies don't have that.
Some don't, but many do have that. You can't date,
cannot
or
date.
you
And it would-
cannot, as a superior,
Right, and that-
date
sure.
someone that
But
is
that
in
would
a-
depend on
Yeah.
the company and their own policies. And I know many companies that don't have that
You're
policy.
right. You're right. Not
But I
everybody
would
does.
assume as the CEO
Sure,
and as the
right.
human resources director,
You should not be sleeping
should know
together.
better.
there are some kind of morality clauses or something like that
There-
in your contracts that say,
There could easily not
hey,
be.
if you're like cheating on your spouse publicly, we're going to fire you.
But there easily could
I
not
don't.
be.
Is it so
There
much if you're
easily could
cheating
not
on
be.
your spouse publicly, or is it that the CEO is having an affair with a subordinate?
I think it's that.
I mean, I've heard of companies firing people for cheating in their personal life that has nothing to do with
Right.
the job.
But and that depends
I
on
would suspect
the
that's
company, I would
rare.
think.
don't you
and that
think?
depends again
I think it would depend on-
each company's individual policies,
Of
whether
course.
they have a public image clause. And a lot of companies, and I'll tell you, like I know of these companies, I've worked on their contracts, and I know that a lot of companies don't have.
Oh,
any,
tell us.
Well, a lot of companies don't have any such clauses. Duty to disclose a romantic relationship with a fellow employee, like easily could not be in their contract. Morality, public image clauses are often defined, so it'll say something like about like arrest, criminal behavior, things like that. And so, yeah, like something like an affair or whatever, like or a relationship with another employee or your subordinate could easily be completely absent from the contract. In which case, if you are terminated, you have a wrongful termination case. I think so. Because I did not breach the.
if you have
I
a
didn't
contract,
breach
if
the
it's
contract.
at-will employment,
At-will employment, you don't have a claim regardless.
Yeah.
They didn't like the shirt you wore yesterday.
Right.
But like, if you do have a contract and you didn't breach that contract,
right?
well,
Then you might have a claim.
you might have a claim.
Back to hockey.
Back to hockey.
I was about to say, and back to heated rivalry.
So
shall
my
we?
point
Is there
is,
anything
like we
Diner
tied
City,
it all
hire
in.
me as your attorney. Anyway,
I feel like we tied it all in.
yeah. I
No,
mean,
I mean, I think it all relates for sure.
Yeah.
But like, were there any other points that we were talking about that we missed?
Other
on?
than they're both really exceptional actors.
I love them. I love their relationship. I'm rooting for them. I love this show. I love his
I
Russian.
mean, they were not
Oh my God.
Not difficult to look at.
His monologue was amazing in episode 5.
His monologue in Russian.
That's what got emotional.
Oh, it was
That's
so good.
what got me.
It was so good.
Because he was an asshole. I'm not gonna lie. They kept saying
was a lovable
you're
asshole.
such an asshole. He was an asshole.
He was a lovable asshole.
I mean, are you team Ilya or team Shane?
Are we supposed to
I'm
pick
team
a team?
both of them. I
Yeah.
love them. But
It's funny thing. I actually like Scott Hunter.
I love him.
of course, I
yes.
love him.
Love him.
Oh, I love him.
I love them as a couple. I think they're so
I love them
cute.
very much. That's a great
I
couple.
love Scott Hunter.
I loved Svetlana. I thought she
Yes.
was great.
Yeah.
She's actually
Svetlana
she
was
actually is
great.
Russian, and
The only one whose accent
Rose I liked a
was
lot.
upsetting.
Her character was really good. She's really good
I
and
liked her.
supportive for him.
I liked her.
liked it a lot. Yeah.
The only one whose accent was upsetting was the Russian coach's son that Ilya sometimes hooked up with. I can't
his
remember
accent was not good.
his
what was
accent.
his name? Oh my God.
It's
But
irrelevant.
I
His
mean,
accent
you know
was
what? I actually want to go back to
No,
that
because
monologue.
it was a typical Russian name in my head. I was like,
But I want to go back to
Boris.
that monologue and actually and maybe put on the subtitles. I didn't have the subtitles on when I watched it originally, and
Yeah.
then because I find the words to be distracting, and I was like, oh, I can understand the Russian. But now I want to see how they translated it into English and whether it had like that same punch to the gut.
Oh, I just the way that he delivered the
was
lines
amazing.
it was really excellent.
Just like no one
and
cares
again,
about
I
me.
ultimately
I'm not finding him in the cast list.
he was in like 5 minutes of it.
No, he showed up. Well, but he showed up in it.
I ultimately think that this really was a really beautiful love story.
very
Sasha.
Romeo and Juliet.
That was it.
Yes.
I knew it was an S name.
But
I'm so sorry, Sasha, your accent.
yeah, we didn't love your accent. But it's also hard because you're being like compared to like. I mean, Ilya was just phenomenal. Svetlana is a Russian speaker, so hers is obviously flawless. So it's very hard. But,
How was the brother, Alexei?
he's Russian, I think.
Is he
It
Russian?
was very hard.
Oh, I can't. Jay.
then there's
the
really-
brother I think was Russian.
Alexei was Russian.
I don't remember.
The actor.
Anyway, guys, I
Yeah,
I
his
don't know if
name
we
is
ruined it,
Slavic.
but we
Rogozin. So maybe. Yes.
I don't know if we ruined it, but we dissected it quite a bit.
But
we did.
you know, and what I love is this is just like a modern retelling of Romeo and Juliet. It's that whole can't be
Star-crossed lovers.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
a secret romance.
my
I can't
God,
be
I
with you
hope-
because you are.
Yeah, because you are who you are.
You are who you are, and I am who I am.
Should
And
we ruin Romeo and Juliet?
Which one of them overslept?
I love all the unrequited. Like that, I love it. I love the secret romance kind of movies.
Should we ruin Romeo and Juliet?
How much more can you ruin it? Like they're dead
Well,
at
you
the
mean?
end.
Do you mean the Leonardo DiCaprio, Claire Danes version?
I don't know. I don't know if I could talk
To
about
me,
that
that was amazing. Although the one with
Was it? Was
Olivia
it?
Dabo, that was the one that I originally saw in the 70s.
Yeah, no, we didn't see that.
You
one.
guys didn't see that one.
We saw the
That was hot.
Leo,
Saw
the
the
Leo
Leo
one.
That was hot.
I believe that Shakespeare wrote the script for Leo
No,
specifically.
because if you look at really what I mean is if you really dissect Romeo and Juliet, it's about two teenagers who
are way too young to be
way too young to
making
be
these
involved
huge
in any
decisions.
of this, who caused the deaths of like
but-
everyone around them,
But what
and
was
then
it,
they
the
die.
Because their
13,
frontal lobes weren't
1400?
fully
But
developed.
1400s? Like that was par for the course back then.
She was
They
13.
were
or-
young in our age.
She was
in our
13 or
eyes.
14, and he was like, how old was he? He was like 17
people
or 18.
live to maybe 30. So come on now.
Yeah. If you're 13 and unmarried,
Juliet is 13, and Leo, no, not Leo, sorry, Romeo
Leo.
is 16 to
Wherefore
17.
out thou?
well, if you see and Juliet, they go into all that.
Oh, I really want
Yeah.
to see
It's
that.
very good.
I really want to see that.
But anyway, I think we've fully ruined this.
I think so.
Yep.
How many?
Not too much though. I thought it was pretty
How
well.
many hockey pucks are we giving it?
Hockey pucks?
Good use of hockey terminology.
Thank you so much.
What's the scale? Like what
Of
are we-
legality, I mean, I think that it's very realistic about what
Yeah,
the concerns
it
are
is.
and everything with the sponsorship and all this. I think it's
I'll go
realistic.
high.
I
I'll go
don't
high.
think, yeah, I don't think they really did a bad job legally. Yeah.
I'll go high.
Yeah, I'm good with an 8.
Yeah.
Story wise, acting wise, 10 out of 10, no
10 out of
notes.
10, no, yeah, 10 out of 10, no notes at all. Love it so much.
Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Are we
Sibo.
low key obsessed or we're
High key obsessed. Yeah, it's very. I
I'm trying to get hip with the terminology.
can't wait for season 2.
I don't think high key is a thing. I don't think you
Okay.
can
It's
say
not.
high
You're
key.
only low key, right? Yeah. All right.
thank you guys so much for joining us. We hope you are entertained by our shenanigans.
At the very least, we hope if you haven't seen it yet that we've inspired you to go and check this thing out. It is worth the gander.
and otherwise, in the meantime, follow, like, and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Instagram. We are on Let's Ruin It Podcast. Send us your suggestions. Send us your comments. We've been getting some lovely messages. And we are really loving this gig, you guys.
Yeah,
so just keep commenting.
One more shout out to Nikki. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. See you next time.